Hello, friends. I am back in Satisfactory, and we're gonna actually build a factory this time. We spent a lot of time exploring last time. Let's just grab some concrete and some iron plates. We will have to keep an eye on our power, though. It might eventually go out. And then we'll have to do some biomass gathering instead. But I think for now it's okay. We're just gonna keep building this out. Make sure we have our second floor. And I actually feel like we should do something here, maybe. Instead of making it like a box shape, give it like a curve, you know? Okay, we'll have to get rid of this tree here. Unfortunately. Have it fall right onto my concrete production. And then we'll do 1, 2, 3. Like that. And then on the top here we'll do something similar. Instead we'll make this longer. Like so. And it gives like this building entirely like a curve upwards. Which can explain why it might need to be a little bit bigger at the top than at the bottom. Okay, let's do another floor. I think we do 3 every time, right? Yes. Make sure our staircase goes up as well. And then we'll still do 10, 20. We might have to like do something over here as well later. This might end up being a little bit awkward. But we do have this thing going through the facility then, which is kind of neat. 11. So 13. Oh, perfect. Matches up immediately. That's lovely. Okay, well, like we said, this gap will have to be a bit bigger than the ones below to avoid the trees. Could have a window right here. Is it 1 bigger on each side? Oh, it's 2 bigger on this side. What if I do... Okay, now let's do 2 here. And let's also do 2 here. And we keep 1 on each side here. Gives a nice view of the trees, I think. Okay, I feel like we have to make the next floor a little bit taller to get over this, and that's gonna be our last floor as well. Which means we might have to do 5 instead of 3. This feels like the highest point of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would get us just barely above it. I'll do it. I'll do it. Let's do 6. Can I place? That's 10. That's 20. It should end up on the same corner, right? Yes. Then that's 11. We add 8 to that. Should bring us to the same spot here. We could extend this maybe a little bit. Then we'll do 10 here. That's 11 then. Or should we go... Let's go all the way. Let's make this like a big overhang. And we're out of concrete. There's a fair bit over here. Take it all. I think it was a good idea to have this one set up for a little bit to make more concrete. I think that was one of the more smart decisions I've made in this game. I actually think at the top we do need a lot of space. The very top are going to be 2 of the, let's say, bigger factories. Or like lines, I guess. Okay. Oh, yeah, we should maybe... I don't think we'll have the space to make like a viewing window here for that, so let's just grab it. Sorry, little slug. Now my only question will be, if we go into photo mode real quick, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, sort of on this side, and then we have 2 on that side. So it's kind of all around, but I do want to bring them all in at like sort of the same spot. And I think since I already said that I might want to extend this area over here, it could be a good idea to have the resources go through there. It would be very awkward for the copper though, which comes from the opposite side of the building, to have it run somehow over here. And the question is, how are we going to bring it to the different floors? I do think that's a question we can perhaps answer once we have the machines built, with the idea, of course, of it starting on this side of the facility. We'll have to somehow run the copper to the opposite side then. That's okay. So, shall we start with the first layer, which is here? Which would be... Let me just open my modeler real quick so I can see the factory. Which would be our basic iron. Yeah, we could probably also fit the copper or the concrete in there. First, we'll need to grab the resources we need. We'll start off with the regular steel production. So we're going to bring in 120 ore with a Mark 1 miner, for which we'll need a bunch of Mark 2 belts. That's going to need 4 smelters to melt it all down, which is going to lead us into 2 constructors for plates, 4 constructors for rods, and 3 constructors for screws. And all of that goes into storage. That is the setup. Hold on one second, guys. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I got a little phone call. We can take the miner out. We don't need that right now. So we're starting on this corner with the smelter. So I don't want to start immediately on the corner. Maybe we'll give it like 2, 2. So we start here. We do 2 off the edge here. 3 off the edge there. And then like this. I think that's fine. So we're gonna place 2 here. These are gonna be for the rods. And then 2 here. These are gonna be for plates, of course. Then let's give this 2 space. And then we'll go 1 here, an additional 1 here. And an additional 1 here. Since we need 4 for the rods. The plates are only gonna need 2, so we can place those right next to it. And then those are gonna merge together and just go into storage. Then these 2 are gonna merge and go into storage with the rods. And then these 2 will merge. And then split again into 1, 2, 3. And they are gonna merge and go off to storage. And that leaves us with quite a bit of space here. So let's say these 3 are all gonna merge here. Gives us a lot of space to work with over here. Which means we can probably do... it might be a little too... It might be too little space for the copper. We can do the limestone here. I think we can do the limestone here. Oh, we're gonna need a lot. Oh, okay. We're gonna need 7 constructors. And 4 miners, but... Okay, we actually have enough with us, so we can lay it out. Oh, you know what we could do? We could place one of these. Place it like nicely in the center here. And then use that as a starting point to place our constructors. 1, 2, 3. We'll do the same on the other side. 1, 2, 3. And then the question is, how are we... I mean, concrete takes 45. That's 45. That's 85, 90. 135. Which means we'll have to underclock one of these. So let's keep these as 3, and then we'll feed a 120 line of concrete in there. Because we have one pure node that will give us 120 limestone. We'll feed that in here and underclock the last one, because we'll feed it in a manifold. So it'll go in here first, and there second, and there third. So we'll give this one the least requirement. And then we'll add on the other side, we'll add the last constructor. And since we have 3 lines of 60, we can split one of those into 30 and then have 2 lines of 90, which is exactly what 2 constructors of concrete can consume. So we'll have 2 lines of 90 and then split them equally into these. And that should then produce roughly 100? Yeah, 100 it says. And for that we'll then need another set of mergers here, another one here, and another one here. So these first 2 will produce 90 already. No, they produce 15, right? Okay, so that's 15, 30. Then we add another 30 to it, that's 60. So we can use a Mark II already here if we want. That makes it 90. Well, not entirely. That makes it like... makes it 75, I think, if we underclock this. No, 85. And then we add that one to it and then send it off to storage in a Mark II. Over here... So this is the plate side, we said. Let's give that iron ingot as a recipe. Since it takes 30 and produces 30, we're gonna do 60 in here, so half of a 120 line. And then 30 in there, 30 per minute in there, which is 40 iron plates per minute. And then these two can merge. And then they can go to storage. Then let's do this one next. This is also steel ingots. And for those, we'll have to split them. Let's do a splitter here. And we'll have to do a splitter here as well. And then one line going into each. These are going to make rods, which only need 15 per minute. So 30 split to 15s. We'll do the same thing over here. Then we'll do the same thing with this one. Oh, we're out of rods. We'll have to get more. This one's going to merge over here. And they're going to produce 30 rods. And then these are gonna merge over here. And then split over here. So 30 rods. And then for the screws it's only 10 per minute, so perfect. 30 rods are gonna split it to 10 each. And it will produce exactly 120 screws per minute. So we'll merge the three of these together. Each of them should only be producing 40. So we'll only need a Mark II belt once they have merged. Editing Fynnion here, and I'm gonna do a live edit, as this one constructor was placed slightly off from the other ones in the episode that I'm currently editing. So I'm just gonna fix that real quick. And there we go. Now it is all proper again. Then over here, let's do... We'll probably need a splitter from this side. And we said we're gonna do it in a manifold. And since this is the 120 line, we're going to need the Mark II belts in between. And that's going to be our 2, that's 90, and then this one's just going to do 30 instead of 45 per minute to make 120. And then with these two, it's just about splitting them equally, that we can put a splitter in front of each of these, like this maybe, and then have 90 split two ways. So the input still needs to be a Mark II belt, but for the time being, bang. And then we'll have a nice space to walk around in and to send it to storage somewhere. Haven't really figured that out yet. We do have where we want to store it, but not how we're going to get it there. Okay, second floor. Rotors and reinforced iron plate, I think. They each get a line of 120. No, one of them gets 120, one of them gets 90. So we only need 3 smelters on one side, 4 smelters on the other side. Let's see. What do we need? So, 1, 2, 3, 4 for one side, 1, 2, 3 for the other side. Then 6 for... No, 8 for rods. We need a total of 8 for screws. And then we need 3 for plates. And then we need 2 assemblers for reinforced plates and 2 assemblers for the rotors. That's gonna be lovely. Alright, we need some rotors and we need some cable. I do believe we have a ton of rotors just laying around from all our searches. So we should be able to just grab those, if I remember where. There they are. And then we can grab some cable, which has been probably idle for a while, but now it's letting more cable go again. Alright, so we might have to start a little bit closer to the edge this time, because on the other one we started right here. So we might have to start this one a little more to the left, just because we need the space. We obviously also have that hole over there. So we're gonna start 2 off the edge this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that seems correct. Then that is followed. These 3, oh, this all makes iron, by the way. We're just gonna have to underclock one of the miners to make 90 ore per minute instead of 120 to get like the clean numbers we want. So these 3 are gonna merge together. Then these 2 are gonna merge together, and these 2 are gonna merge together. Let's see, we can probably combine... I mean, can we? I was thinking maybe we can combine them all together to make all the screws and rods and then split them later. But I don't think I have a belt fast enough to handle that. I already need 200 per minute for the 2 assemblers, which we're gonna split onto 2 lines. So I think there's a way that we can. And I think we can do it with another manifold. We're gonna need a merger again. So we'll place merger here. Output going that way. There it goes again. 1 second. And we're back. Okay, so my thinking right now is we just need to split one of them to send 50 to the screws and then 40 to the rotors, and the other one is just 30 to the screws. So we send a total of 80 to the screws and 40 right into the assembler. So what I think I'm gonna do, since it's a total of 8, we can make a line of mergers like this, and we grab our constructors. We make sure the output is facing into the mergers. Oh, that one's wrong. Both of those are wrong, actually. Output into the mergers. And then we'll send, since it's 15, it's 60 per side, so 2 merge this side, 2 merge this side. And then these all merge together. No, wait, if we have 120 rods, which we're making 50 plus 40, that's 90, plus 30, that's 120. If we split that 3 ways, that's 40 each. So we can just cleanly send 40 off into the assembler. And then remerge the other 2 into the screws, which would then be 80 for the screws, which is correct. Okay. Let's leave a 1 slot space then. And then over here, we'll do splitters. And I think we can just do the same thing. We'll do a line of 4. And then we grab ourselves some constructors, this time with the output away from them. Oh, that one's skewed. And that'll be for all the screws in that case. And then we'll need to separate the screws somehow, because we need 120 going into the reinforced iron plates and 200 going into the assemblers. So we need to make 2 lines of 100. If we grab screws real quick, we should be producing 320. That's 40, 80, 120, 160, 200, 240, 280, 320. Okay. That seems correct. Which means take 40 from here. We split 20 off from here. That makes 80. We send that off. And then we have 80 from these 2. Take 20 from this. That's 100. That can go into 1 assembler. And then over here, we'll have 40. What do we say here? 20 and 40. That's 60. So we add this one to it. So we bring it along here and we merge it. So we have 60 and 40. That makes 100. That can go into the other assembler. And then these 3 are 40, 80, 120. And that can together go into the other 2 assemblers for the reinforced iron plates. Which means we should be able to place the assemblers right here. Let's see. What would it be like if I place all of them like this? I guess that one ends nicely on a center line. Question is just if this is enough space for them. So this one would merge probably into there. The other one would probably merge into this one, because we're also bringing rods from there over here and here. And then these 3 merge together and go into both of those. So now we'll need the plates from the other 3. Since it's just 3 constructors, we might be able to just... yeah, we're splitting 90 ore 3 ways. So we could just do classic little bit of load balancing. Where should we do it? It's kind of like snapping into place with the other ones. Can we get it to not snap? Maybe like this. 2, 3. So these 3 merge together. They come over here. And these start making iron plates. I'm getting called again. 1 second, guys. Okay, we're back. What was I doing? Plates. Right, and those plates are just gonna merge again and go into there. So, I'm pretty sure I don't need to underclock/overclock any of this. So, merger for these 2. And a merger for these two. These are doing 60 per minute, so splitter from here. And we'll just go straight into there. Let's see if we can get this to wrap around like that. It's a bit awkward that it's like right next to the machine, isn't it? So we're just bring it here like that. And that's one side. And then these two merge in here. Splitter, splitter, splitter. Connect those all in, and they're producing 15 rods per minute. So that's 30, that's 60. Let's do Mark II here. And then we need a Mark II here. And then we need to split them. I honestly think the best way I can do this is we take a lift. Let's add that to my hotbar. Take a lift. Has to be a Mark II. Make it go out this way. We place a splitter at the head. Then we place a Mark II lift here, since we're still doing 80. And then we'll place a merger on that one. Then, since we're splitting 40 off on each side, we can do a Mark I belt. And then we'll do Mark I lift here. Let's run it this way, and then we can curve it over the top back that way. Alright, so, and these all get 10 rods, so Mark I belts all around. Except down the middle. Over here we'll do Mark IIs, since we're transporting 80 per minute. Then, I think we're gonna have to work with lifts again on this section. We'll do this side first. This one seems a bit simpler, since we said we're gonna merge these guys together. Oh, that's not what I wanted. This is producing 40. And we're up to 80, so we need a Mark II belt. And then we're up to 120. And that 120 can go into the two assemblers over here. We're going to use lifts on this side for the plates. And then we'll place a splitter. You can maybe even do it a tad closer like that. And then we'll place a second one here. And this splits how much? 120 into 60 each. And then this one makes the rotors, which needs 100 screws per. So we'll grab a merger. We'll put that over here. Merge the 40 from here. Into 100 there. Oh, why don't we just do this? It needs to be a Mark II. Okay, we're gonna have to work with lifts again on this side. Do a bunch of Mark 1s. This one's gonna get a splitter. These two are gonna get mergers. They do need to be oriented in the correct direction though. So this one's gonna split 40 into 20 on each side. Merger. This way. That connects nicely. Is it the correct way though? Yes. So 40 goes up, splits 20 each side. That makes 60 in there. Which makes... Is that straight? 100 here. And then... That brings 60 that way, merges with the 40 from here, delivers 100 in there. And then we have the last 40 rods coming from there. Like so. Perfect. What is it, 20? Oh yeah, it's just 60, so we can stick with Mark 1s. That's wonderful that that fits, but we need to get a splitter on there. And a splitter on there. Wonderful. And then in theory, that should all work. So we grab ourselves some mergers. I'm gonna place these pretty close. Guess we're gonna place these like so. And then they can run alongside each other to wherever we want them to go. Awesome. No, we need to research this overclocking and underclocking. We do still have one of these bad boys in our pocket. Oh. What did I close? Power shards. It's just one slug, one power shard. Which means that when we go into the power slugs here, we can research overclocking.
Overclocking development completed. Power shards can now be inserted into all buildings to increase input and output speed. Underclocking is also possible. Note, power consumption of overclocked buildings increases exponentially.
So, because we need to underclock one of the miners for the rotor section, and we also need to underclock one of these for the concrete. Now, since we're bringing in 120 over here, and this in theory consumes 130, 135 actually, we need to get this down. So 45 plus 45, that's 90. So we only have space for a consumption of 30, which means we'll only be producing 10 per minute on this one. But at least, oh, there's a to-do list. Oh. No, there's a high on my screen. What? Okay, I didn't know that. Hello. Okay, so now we need taking 30 here and then 90 in the other two, so that this can run smoothly without idling constantly. And that has also not done anything to the power. But like she said, if we were put the shard in here, we could overclock this to 150% and boost the throughput, but it would exponentially cost more power. So that way we can overclock and underclock stuff. Thankfully, we haven't had to do that yet on anything except this. On all the other ones, we shouldn't have to underclock or overclock any of the machines. It's I figured it out to be at least a little bit balanced. Then let's head to the next floor. On the next floor, not this one, I meant the next one, this one. I think we're barely going to use any of the space here, which is okay. We can make we can decorate this nicely. Maybe we can figure out a way to get up and down. Maybe once we get that elevator, you know. And we're going to build the copper and Caterium section here. But unfortunately, that will have to wait until next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching episode 7. We're finally building the factory. We're actually making the production lines. And next episode, I promise, we're going to finish the rest of the production lines and start connecting all the belts. I do have to handcraft a lot of reinforced iron plate to get a lot of these Mark II belts going. But don't worry, I will cut all of the handcrafting out. And yeah, actually, me right now, I still haven't connected any of the resource nodes to the factory, as in my last stream that I did, where I was recording, my hard drive was suddenly full, and so my recording stopped, and I had to download the VOD so I can edit that later. And so that will take a little bit of time before we finally do that, but we'll be finishing the production lines in the next episode. Anyway, I don't want to give away too much. Thank you guys for watching episode 7 of A Satisfactory Experience. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. It really helps me out. Remember to subscribe to the channel down below so you don't miss any future uploads of my Satisfactory playthrough. And follow me on Twitch. Link for that will also be in the description, where, like I just said, you'll see me play Satisfactory and other games live. And especially for Satisfactory, I only record the episodes while I'm live, so you can get a head start on my progress in my world there if you want. So drop me a follow there, and hopefully I'll see you in the stream sometime. Thank y'all, and till the next one.